All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we are digging into something that affects so many of us, that stubborn, dangerous belly fat. We're going to break down an expert's take on why fasting might just be the #1 most effective way to get rid of it for good. Okay, so here's what we're covering. First, why is belly fat so dangerous? Then, we'll look at dieting versus fasting. We'll get into the key to all this, lowering insulin. Then, what your body actually does on a fast. We'll cover how to put it into practice, and finally, we'll talk about reclaiming our natural design. Let's jump in.
All right, first up, the danger of belly fat. You know, it's so much more than just an issue of how you look or how your clothes fit.
So the expert here makes a really powerful point. He says that if he sees someone with a belly sticking out, he already knows they've probably got insulin resistance. It's not just a guess, it's a huge visual clue to a serious metabolic problem happening under the surface.
And this is so important to understand. There are two totally different types of fat. You've got the subcutaneous fat, the stuff right under your skin that you can pinch. That's not the real enemy. The one we're talking about is visceral fat. This is the nasty hidden stuff that actually gets inside your abdominal cavity and wraps itself around your vital organs like your liver and pancreas. And as you can see, it's inflammatory and straight up toxic.
And this is why it's so dangerous. This visceral fat isn't just sitting there, it's biologically active. Think of it like a little toxic factory inside you, constantly pumping out inflammatory molecules. It's what's known as ectopic fat, fat in places it should never be, like around your heart. This is what's directly linked to things like high C-reactive protein, a major marker for inflammation, and it's a key driver of plaque building up in your arteries. Just nasty stuff.
Okay, so if this stuff is so bad, how in the world do we get rid of it? Well, let's look at the classic approach, dieting, and see how it stacks up against fasting. It's a tale of two completely different physiologies.
So here's the big question. Isn't fasting just eating less? Isn't it just calorie restriction with a different name? A lot of people think so, but the answer is a hard no. Your body responds in two completely different ways, and this is maybe the most important thing to get. Okay, check this out. When you just restrict calories, dieting, your body kind of panics. It senses a famine, a prolonged deficit. So what does it do? It slows down your metabolism to conserve energy, and it starts breaking down both muscle and fat. It's not picky. But with fasting, your body gets a totally different signal. It senses the absence of food, not a shortage. And that tells it, okay, time to switch fuels. It knows it has plenty of energy stored as fat, so it goes right for those fat stores. And, crucially, it works to preserve your muscle mass. Two totally different outcomes. So what's the magic switch here? What's the mechanism that makes fasting so much more effective? Well, it all boils down to one single hormone, insulin.
So think of insulin as a storage hormone. That's its primary job. When insulin levels are high, your body is in storage mode. It's like a one-way street. Insulin is the traffic cop telling all that energy from your food to go into your fat cells for storage. And while that cop is on duty, it is almost impossible to get any of that fat out to be burnt.
So the logic here is pretty simple, right? The fastest, most effective way to lower insulin is to just stop stimulating it. Since eating is what causes insulin to spike, the most direct path to getting that traffic cop off duty is to simply not eat for a period of time. That's it. That's fasting.
Okay, so once we get insulin levels to drop by fasting, that's when the real magic begins. Let's look at the powerful processes that get unlocked in your body.
So, what happens after, say, 12 hours or so of not eating? You've burned through all the readily available sugar, your glucose. What does your body run on then? Well, it starts to produce something called ketones.
Ketones are this amazing alternative fuel source that your liver makes directly from your stored body fat. They're considered a much cleaner fuel for your body, producing fewer of those damaging free radicals. But here's the really cool part. They're not just fuel. They also boost something called BDNF, which stands for brain-derived neurotrophic factor. You can think of it like Miracle-Gro for your brain cells. This is why people who fast often report this incredible mental clarity and focus. It's not just in your head, it's a real biological process.
Okay, so we're burning clean fuel, the brain is happy, but it gets even better. What happens to our stem cells? Because fasting isn't just about burning energy, it's about deep cellular repair. This is just incredible. When you've been fasting for a while and then you break that fast, your body releases a huge surge of stem cells from your bone marrow. These are like your body's master repair crew. They're undifferentiated, meaning they can become any kind of cell your body needs. Immune cells, cells to repair the lining of your blood vessels, you name it. You're literally kickstarting a system-wide regeneration process. And what about inside the cells themselves? There's another amazing process that kicks in, called autophagy.
Think of autophagy as your body's deep cleaning and recycling program. When your cells aren't getting a constant stream of new energy, they get smart. They start taking out the trash. They identify old, damaged, misfolded proteins and other junk parts, and they literally consume them, recycling them for energy or to build new, better parts. This makes your cells, especially your mitochondria, way more efficient. It's a massive reason why you feel so good after a fast. You've literally cleaned house at the cellular level.
Okay, so the science is clearly amazing, but how do you actually do this? Let's get into the practical side of things. The recommendation here is to start slow. You don't have to go on a 3-day water fast right out of the gate. Step 1, just try a 12-12 fast. That means you fast for 12 hours and have a 12-hour eating window. Super simple. If you finish dinner at 7 p.m., you just don't eat again until 7 a.m. the next morning. Most people are already doing something close to this. Then, after a couple of weeks, once that feels easy, you can try pushing it to an 18-6. That's an 18-hour fast with a 6-hour window to eat.
Now, if you really want to pour gasoline on the fire, you can combine fasting with exercise. The best time to do it is right at the peak of your fast, just before you break it. And the best types are things like resistance training or HIIT, high-intensity interval training. Why? Because doing this can give you a massive natural spike in growth hormone, and that is huge for preserving and building muscle. Just one little note, women might want to be a bit more cautious with doing lots of fasted aerobic exercise, as it can affect hormones differently.
All right, finally, let's just zoom out for a second and look at the big picture here. This isn't some new fad. It's about reclaiming our fundamental design. This quote just nails it, doesn't it? We're supposed to be fasting and feasting, but now we only feasting all the time. We were built for this cycle, periods where food was scarce, followed by periods where it was abundant. But in our modern world, we've completely lost the fasting part of the equation. We are stuck in a 24/7 feasting cycle, and our bodies are paying the price. So you have to ask, is fasting the missing piece of the puzzle for modern health? The argument is pretty compelling. We may have lost the habit of fasting, but we have absolutely not lost the physiology. All of these incredible benefits we've talked about, the ketones, the stem cells, the autophagy, it's all still hardwired into our biology, just waiting for us to flip the switch. And maybe that's the real takeaway here. Our bodies still know exactly how to heal and thrive. We just have to get out of their way and give them a chance to do what they were designed to do.